Sabalenka's breakdown video becomes viral. Out of her rage, she breaks her racket and screams at staff. The moment the racket hit the ground, the stadium froze. One of the most intense emotional outbursts of her career occurred during what started out as a challenging match. The players looked away. The audience let out a gasp. Workers didn't know if they should go forward or backward. Nobody could have predicted how forcefully and publicly she would reach her breaking point. But even steel-built winners have strange reactions to pressure. Every scream, every gesture, every second of her fury went viral online. It was referred to as passion by some and disgust by others. But one thing became clear: this wasn't your average breakdown of tennis. This incident exposed the raw side of a famous person who usually keeps her storms to herself. Aryna Sabalenka is not like other tennis players. She is a powerhouse and a force of nature, so her presence on the court demands attention. With every racket swing, she radiates dominance. Every serve is as loud as a thunderclap. And each time she performs, it seems like a battle of wills. Early in her career, she showed that she was more than just a skilled tennis player. But in addition to her exceptional talent, she had a temperament as fierce as her game. For a long time, women's tennis analysts have seen a tendency. The strong winds, explosive emotions, and intermittent emotional outbursts both aroused and unnerved fans. Sabalenka became well known very fast. She advanced up the ranks by pure strength and determination, defying expectations. Fans loved her for her unrelenting energy, fearless demeanor, and determination to give up in the face of strong opponents. Beneath the medals and prizes, though, was always a pressure cooker of emotions. Every Grand Slam final match carried the weight of expectations from coaches, spectators, the media, and even herself, in addition to the challenge of opponents. For a player with her level of skill, winning is not enough. The stakes are always higher, the margin of error is getting smaller, and the scrutiny is getting closer. This pressure shaped her character on the court in addition to influencing her victories. Sabalenka's devotion is well known. Her physical intensity is matched by the emotional intensity that propels each action. An incident that made headlines could be triggered by a close defeat, a squandered opportunity, or a losing point. The rackets flying, the yells of rage, and the obvious stress were all visible to everyone. Some were concerned about these outbursts. They were seen by others as evidence of her passion and disobedience. Whether it was applauded or reviled, one thing was certain. As Sabalenka's feelings surfaced, the tennis community closely watched her. Over the years, there have been incidents in Sabalenka that hinted to this deeper conflict. From early career tantrums to violent mid-match outbursts in high-stakes games, she has demonstrated that her head often carries as much weight as her body. These insights into her emotional condition paint a picture of a player who is juggling both opponents on the other side of the net and internal demands. Fans and onlookers have debated whether this emotion is an indication of genius or vulnerability that could be exposed at the worst moment. The planet is at its breaking point right now. A moment that attracted media attention for both the tennis result and the raw human drama of a world-class athlete under pressure. The viral tantrum wasn't an unplanned outburst. It is the outcome of years of constant pressure, rivalry, and demands. This is a story about the game Sably plays with herself and her competitors. Internal disputes that remain undetected until they become widely known. Power meets pressure, skill meets emotion, and a champion's humanity is shown at this juncture. The struggle between victory and anarchy is when the story of Sabalenka's viral collapse really begins. The stadium was packed, there were dazzling lights, and millions of people from all over the world were watching. To get to the title game, Aryna Sabalenka had endured. Even though every game is a test of skill, stamina, and resolve, nothing could have prepared her or anyone watching for the moment that would start one of the most talked about events of the season. As the game went on, the tension grew with each rally. Each player fought more deftly, put in more effort, and refused to give up. The score was close, and every point served as a battlefield. Sabalenka's characteristic power was on full display as her serves hit the corners precisely and her forehand smashed like thunder. But there were tiny cracks, brief moments of irritation, clenched fists, tightened teeth, and narrowed eyes with every great strike. There was more at risk than just the trophy. They had to do with her background, reputation, and the weight of expectations she carried. Then it happened. As the game neared its climax, the last moments were a whirlwind of fervor and emotion. Sabalenka fought bravely, never giving up or retreating. But when the crucial point went against her, something inside of her snapped. She swiftly picked up her racket and struck the ground with such force that the sound echoed throughout the stadium, causing the onlookers to gasp. Anxiety, stress, and frustration all detonated in that single explosive deed. It was not just a racket smash. The signal and the pure expression of passion shocked everyone. For a minute, coaches, authorities, and bystanders were unsure of how to react. The cameras captured every second, including the soundtrack of her anger, confusion, and inner turmoil. Workers instinctively retreated as they felt the overwhelming emotion. For Sabalenka, this was a release. But for everyone watching, it was a moment of wonder and fascination. Even after the outburst, the drama persisted. In subtle ways, Sabalenka's answer continued. A cry of frustration, tense movements, and a clear effort to regain calm. Clearly, this was not a single act of fury. It was the external expression of a larger storm. Years of internal pressure, competition, and expectations culminated in one precise, unforgettable moment. In the post-match interview, Sabalenka made an effort to explain, revealing the human side of the collapse. She discussed how she had to deal with the loss, let go of her emotions, and prepare to speak civilly in front of supporters and the media. Her comments hinted at a more serious battle, the continuous challenge of finding a balance between the fire that drives her and the calm needed to win. But not everyone was sympathetic, and they were closely watched by everyone. Social media erupted in a matter of minutes, with fans debating whether this was the result of passion or a lack of control. Commentators examined every gesture, every expression on the face, and every racket slam. Even while some people could see how serious the situation was, others questioned whether a professional athlete at the top of her game should express her displeasure so blatantly. The catalyst was this. The viral storm began with this spark. When Sabalenka's meltdown went viral, the tennis world went crazy. Within minutes, videos of the breaking racket and her cries were posted on social media by fans, analysts, and casual viewers. With every replay, the intensity rose. From every angle, it was clear how deeply she felt. On every platform, conversations started. Was this the unstoppable champion breaking under pressure, or was it an unprofessional outburst that went too far? There was disagreement among supporters. Some vehemently defended her, saying that this is what makes Sabalenka a formidable rival whose dominance is driven by her zeal. They praised her drive and remarked that her evident irritation is a sign of her commitment rather than a weakness. Others condemned the actions, claiming that smashing a racket and yelling at staff members showed a lack of self-control that no professional player should display, especially on such a large stage. Memes, contentious viewpoints, and heated threads emerged overnight, turning the breakdown into a hotly debated subject. A further alarming incident then escalated the discussion. In a high-stakes match at a later tournament, Sabalenka's frustration flared up again. This time, she threw her racket hard during a trying period, and it rebounded dangerously close to a ball boy. What had previously been an emotional release now carried a genuine risk for the first time. Broadcasters immediately cautioned prudence about the danger. The audience gasped as snorts and social media buzz intensified. Supporters debated if this could have gone horribly wrong. Was she crossing a line that should never be crossed in spite of the extreme strain? Every viewpoint, frame, and replay intensified the argument. Analysts looked at her body language. Her hands were clenched, her gaze was focused, and her posture was rigid. They discussed how a champion's focus could become erratic under pressure and questioned whether frequent emotional outbursts could affect her career or possibly her own and other people's safety. In the court of public opinion, Sabalenka, a player who was both smart and unpredictable, came to symbolize both unpredictable danger and inspirational might. There were other people who reacted besides fans. Other players and former champions shared their thoughts. Some showed empathy, acknowledging the agonizing stress that professional athletes go through, especially when they fail to achieve their goals. Others were more critical, emphasizing that emotional control is a necessary component of becoming a great professional. Every tweet, post, and comment fueled the fire. And the situation was no longer just a personal irritant for Sabalenka. The public may now witness it as a spectacle. Every picture, outburst, and reaction is magnified because the story is also seen by mainstream media. Headlines emphasized the intensity, potential risks, and ongoing dispute. Is this a role model who is losing their temper, or an athlete who has been overextended? Throughout it all, Sabalenka remained the focus of attention as a star whose talent, passion, and humanity were now equally examined. There are two results to the escalation. It demonstrated both the fierceness of her soul and the vulnerability hidden behind the champion's mask. Thanks to one viral moment, a game has become a global conversation on pressure, enthusiasm, and professionalism in sports. As the globe reacted, the stakes had shifted. Sabalenka's meltdown had immediate and serious repercussions that went beyond simply losing a game. Social media was ablaze for days, examining every detail of the incident. Every rerun was scrutinized for hidden significance, fans got into heated debates, and pundits got into furious arguments.